Well, Craig, Toronto Maple Leafs had another great season. They won a round in the playoffs, so that would be kind of like progress for them. But they flamed out in the second round against the Florida Panthers. So the question remains, the one big question again, should the core four stay intact for another season?
Mike, is this 2022 or are we currently in 2023? This is exactly the same question. So I'm going to take you right to where the Toronto Maple Leafs failed in the second round versus the Florida Panthers. Florida Panthers were the President's Trophy winners in 2022. They flamed out in the second round, a sweep. They scored 3 total goals. What did Bill Zito do? He changed the complexion of the team. They were significant. I'm not suggesting that you need to change the core four, but the core four needs to have better support around them. We have seen the success of previous Stanley Cup contenders, including this year's Stanley Cup winner, the Vegas Golden Knights. It's not about one player or 3 players or 4 players. It's what's around them. The reason the Toronto Maple Leafs haven't been successful in the playoffs, they don't have enough depth. They don't have enough size on the blue line. New general manager Brad Treliving, he can look at the core four. He knows they're good players. We know that they're capable of having a really strong regular season. The rest of the team has to be stronger and better built. And that's up to Brad Treliving now, the new general manager. And if it requires having to change one of the core four, just like Bill Zito did, you can't be hesitant if you feel that that's the best move to move the group forward.
I think we're playing with semantics here, but it does matter. I'm not saying they should change the core four, but I'm also saying they should not be 100% opposed to changing the core four. Change for change's sake doesn't make sense if you're not going to be able to upgrade your talent. Trading one of the core four just to get rid of them and bring some other bodies in doesn't help you if your team isn't better, doesn't progress with that change. But what I think is different this year, Craig, new general manager, another year past in this window of opportunity, is that the commitment to no matter what, the core four are going to stay here. I think that has to soften and say, I'm not looking to trade anyone. I'm not looking to trade Mitch Marner, William Nylander, because I think those are the only 2 guys you can't trade. Tavares has the full no move. Austin Matthews not going to get traded. I'm not looking to trade either one of those players. They both are incredibly talented, awesome players that have helped this team be really good in the regular season. But if someone comes to you, if there's an opportunity to reshape some of the roster, then you have to explore it a little bit more openly than they have in years past. And I'm with you, Craig. What Toronto needs to focus on. A lot of people talking about defense. A lot of people talking about goaltending. Team defense, the top 8 team in the league. Pretty good last year. Where Toronto's got to get back to, Craig, in my opinion, is more offensive production throughout their lineup. It can't be core four and everyone else just bides time until they get back out there. They have to find a way to get more players that can play more creatively, more attacking with the puck in the offensive zone more to help the core four score when it matters most in the playoffs. That should be priority number 1. Maybe it requires trading a core four player, maybe it doesn't, but that's where I think their attention should be focused.
And 2 things I'm going to point out, and I'm going to look at the recent Stanley Cup champion Vegas Golden Knights. They had exactly what you talked about with scoring deeper in their lineup. And you know, you're playing against the Vegas Golden Knights team. There's no opportunity to relax physically or mentally because they're coming at you in so many different ways and they can beat you in so many different ways and with that offense. The other part of it too, and I'll go back to Florida, Jonathan Huberdeau did something that no player in the history of the NHL did at his position. Set an all-time record for assists. And Bill Zito said, hey, listen, I'm not looking to trade Jonathan Huberdeau, but when Matthew Tkachuk becomes available, you open up your mind to that possibility. He did make that transaction. It made a significant difference to the Florida Panthers. And to your point, that's exactly the open-mindedness that Brad Treliving needs to go forward with the core four. You're not just trading them for trading or change's sake. You're trading them so you can make the team better.
Making the team better, that's the priority. And just as an aside, this whole TJ Brody buyout thing, I'm not buying it because I don't think that would be great value for money. But either way, Craig, I think Toronto under Brad Treliving, not saying they're going to make changes, not saying they're going to trade a core four, but we're not saying they're not. And that's a different spot for them this year than last.